Hey, cyberspace, we're coming to you across the interwebs to talk to you about Planting 2020. We're here live at Winter Conference in the shed here at Precision Planting in near Peoria, Illinois. Always an exciting time. We're here with Bryce Baker, Greg Deim, and Emil Bandy. Really exciting to be here at Winter Conference again this year. Bryce, can you tell our listeners a little bit about who you are, how you got here, and what you do at Precision Planting?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Bryce Baker. Grew up in the Tremont, Illinois area, 3 miles from where we're sitting right now is where I grew up. So been with Precision Planting for almost 11 years. So started out in sales roles in the Southeast and in Illinois, worked on the OEM side, and now lead the marketing team. So it's a real privilege to work on the marketing team. We love what we do here and really love interacting with growers is what we love most. And that's what we're doing this week with Winter Conference. Just love actually being on their farms, talking directly to them, finding out what their struggles are, what their challenges are, what they want to see, and just how things are going. So.
Some of our listeners, Greg, will know that you've been a farmer, that you've been a climate support person, been a climate dealer, been out in the countryside. You've recently joined the climate product team, bringing a lot of authenticity in terms of your experience. For those people out there that haven't met you, tell them a little bit about your background and what's brought you to the FieldView team.
Absolutely. So my name's Greg Deim. Grew up in Sway City, Iowa, on a family farm. And have been around agriculture my whole life. And most recently joined the team back in October full-time as the Senior Cab App Product Manager. Excited to be on the team. It's an exciting time for climate and the product itself. But really being able to come from the field and I look around the shop and I'm missing the belt tester. Go back. I've been with Precision Planting through our family dealership and really watch that company grow to where we're at today. And so to be able to bring that into the office and help our customers is what I'm most excited about why I joined Climate. That's what brought me to St. Louis. So we moved from Northern Iowa to St. Louis, and a shout out to my family for bearing with me, for my 2 boys making the transition, and my wife. We're excited. We're excited to be here and excited to get to work.
Well, get ready. Your boys are going to be inundated with Cardinals Nation. St. Louis loves their baseball, and they will talk to you about the Cardinals so much you won't believe it. It's like being out in the countryside and talking about planting, only it's half of the year worth of baseball that we have to talk about the Cardinals. So.
I've learned I'm safe coming from just south of the Minnesota border, growing up as Twins fans. I'm safe by coming into St. Louis and saying that rather than saying the Illinois teams, I've learned.
Bring us home, Emil. You're the third member of our panel here. We saved the best for last.
Wow.
Talk a little bit about what you do here for Precision Planting.
Yeah, Emil Bandy. I actually came right out of college 10 years ago, been in the Precision Planting family ever since. So really steeped deep in the culture of getting your boots dirty. But I in the field helping customers out and helping dealers out. But I work in our product support team and work with the software, supporting dealers and customers on the software issues they may have, and teaching them and educating people on how to use our systems. That's really where my passion's at.
Exciting time. Bryce, tell us a little bit about what farmers are coming into Tremont to hear about at Winter Conference 2020.
Yeah, so it's been a great week. We're on the day 4 of Winter Conference, and so we've had it 4 days here in Tremont. We've also simulcast it out to 10 other locations across the U.S. and Canada. So about 6,000 growers have come in. What guys are seeing a lot of is, number one, talking about managing soil density. Soil density around the seed once the planter leaves the field is very, very important for both root development and for consistent germination and emergence. And so one of the things that guys are really asking a lot of questions about is a product called FurrowForce, which is an automated 2-stage closing system with integrated sensing. And what it does is it basically closes the furrow, but also manages that soil density around the seed. Another thing that's a beta product that a lot of conversations are happening around is a product called Smart Depth. What Smart Depth does is it replaces that T-handle on the row unit and allows manual depth adjustments to happen either from the cab, or they can be automatically done based on a moisture reading from SmartFirmer. And what our research showed us last year is that just a 1/2 inch in depth variation can really vary the moisture that's available to the seed. And so just going from maybe 1 3/4 to 2 1/4 gives you more moisture, and that's read by a product called SmartFirmer. And so it's a little bit of a shift because most of the time we're focused on we want to get consistent depth. Mm-hmm. Well, that's because of the equipment we've had. What we're really after is consistent moisture. Even if the depth varies slightly, if the moisture content is consistent, it allows that seed to germinate and then emerge consistently. So that's what we've been talking about quite a bit. I've been at some of the simulcasts. Emil, I know you've been here all week. What have you seen from the Tremont locations?
Yeah, it's been really exciting to see all the customers and dealers come in and be really excited about smart depth, furrow force, but also adding the ability to control the Clean Sweep product, be able to control your row cleaners straight from the monitor has also been a great addition we've been talking some about.
Yeah, you talk about moisture. I mean, that's what we've been talking about. I feel like for the past 12 months, we've been talking about moisture, right? We had a challenging planting season last year, really difficult for a lot of farmers throughout the Midwest. Got off to a late start. It was wet. Some folks didn't even get into the field. And then when we got into the fall, some things with the technology didn't work quite the way that we had hoped they would. But one of the things that I thought was really great about the fall was the way the Precision team, the FieldView team really came together, worked hand in hand with a lot of our farmer customers out in the countryside to identify some of the challenges that were out there and resolve those as quickly as we could and make sure that we didn't interrupt the harvest season. I mean, can you guys talk a little bit about how the teams came together, worked with farmers, and really were able to take a challenging situation and come together and make the best of that?
So obviously it's no secret that there were challenges and there were some frustrations. We know that, we own that, and we'll get better. You know, I'll let Emil, I guess, comment on. Emil and Greg both were a little bit closer to the support side of it. So
absolutely, yeah. Like I said, it was a challenging year in many ways. But as we've been able to work through those and communicate cross teams, both the engineering teams, have the support teams talk more, to have that more of a seamless integration for the customers to feel like they're getting support that they need, has been something we've really been working on this past fall.
Absolutely, and the biggest thing that I saw was both teams being able to listen to the customer. We understand that there was frustrations in the field, that they're frustrated, that the 12 months was a struggle to begin with, and then to add technology to it, there's always going to be those hiccups. But we listen to the customer, we hear what comes from the field. That's how we can get better with our product. And working together, having those seamless communications between the two companies is a big piece of how we're going to improve the products.
Yeah. It really speaks to the camaraderie in the industry, though, because I look at the customers that are using FieldView, that are using the precision planting technology, and they are passionate people, right? And they're technology adopters. They want to get it right. They want to be able to make the most out of planting, out of harvest, and their willingness to work with folks like us to be able to pull that stuff together, get those issues resolved is really what's exciting about being in the industry. So it's great to see how the teams came together on that. And you start to think about all the technology that's been added, right? You guys probably have the most appropriate name for any company I've ever seen in my life, right? Precision planting and everything that goes into that, making sure that each individual seed is planted for optimized growth potential, right? And being able to get that exactly right, measure that on the fly. When you guys think about how far we've come, right? I think about the first winter conference I came to, it feels like years ago now, to where we are today. What excites you the most about what's coming in the future and where we're going to be able to go as we continue this partnership and as digital agriculture continues to drive forward, we pair up the software with the hardware. Where's it going next that's going to be exciting for customers out in the countryside?
I think back to my first winter conference as employee at Precision Planting was pre-FieldView. You know, the product didn't exist. And then we think about kind of over the years, you know, so FieldView started in this building as a precision planting product, and then through various acquisitions and sales of different companies, we are where we are. But, you know, I think it's important for the listeners to know that, you know, both Precision Planting and Climate FieldView are committed to make sure we're working together. And as you think about the future, that's an important commitment, because as we think about the future of technology, of digital technologies in ag, you know, sensors on the planter that are bringing in data and making decisions are going to continue to be more and more prevalent, right? And so you've got to have a way to process that data. That's the 2020. And then you need a way to visualize the data, which is FieldView for users of FieldView. And so that's going to continue to be more and more important, is to have a good methodology in a good way, and obviously a robust and seamless way between those two platforms to be able to do that.
Well, it's all about simplicity, right? I mean, here the challenge is, and you know, you go out and talk to farmers, I haven't met a farmer yet that's like, yeah, I got more time to figure more stuff out.
That's exactly right.
I got all kinds of monitors going on over here, over there. There's so much more technology on the planter, on the combine now. But what we've got to do and what we've got to strive for is to maintain that simplicity, right? Technology should make life easier,
Absolutely.
not make life more difficult. So, you know, when you guys think about it, Greg and Emil, you guys sit so close to the customer, work with them on a daily basis. You know, what can we do to continue to make it easier on the customer as more technology shows up? How do we make it seamless for them and allow them to see all the benefits of this technology without making it so complicated it gets frustrating to use?
You know, the biggest piece that I can bring to the table coming on to Climate in 2019 as a product manager for the Cab app is I also was here at Precision Planting before FieldView existed. I've been in the field, I've used it from both aspects, both companies. As a grower, as a user, as a dealer, as a support person when it comes to both products. And getting back to the grower roots of how do we interact with the growers, number one, how do we listen, but then how do we keep the product simple so that they are learning from their data? You know, Bryce spoke to it, visualization of data is a big piece of FieldView. All the information, the technology that you can put on a planner that Precision's bringing to the table, we can put that into one place, and our goal is to keep it simple so that they can interact with their data, interact with their equipment. One thing I want to talk about was getting back to the basics. You know, a winter conference coming in as a customer grower and in the current role that I am, Precision has done an awesome job of literally getting back to the basics of what do we need to do before we go to the field? How do we make technology and our products work better? And they've done a great job highlighting that this year at Winter Conference. I want to applaud that.
Thanks.
It's kind of crazy to think about. I mean, it's snowing, it's slushy, it's cold outside, but in reality, guys down in the south are already out in the field. We're only, 3 months, maybe even less from most of the Midwest being out there in the countryside and getting after planting this year.
I hope it's an awesome fall.
If we do better this year than we did last year, if Mother Nature can give us an assist, right, that'd be a nice change of pace considering the past couple of years here. But Emil, one of the sessions here has really been about getting ready for planting and planter basics. What should farmers be thinking about right now in terms of getting prepped to make sure that when it's time to get out in the field, they're ready to go, the technology is ready, and they can get after it as soon as the weather clears up? Yeah,
so one of the things we've been talking about this week has been technology or pitfalls that cause technology to fail, right? Making sure depth is consistent, making sure you replace wear parts, things like that. We need to make sure, in order for the technology to succeed, we have to get those fundamentals down. We have to get those fundamentals taken care of. And then, of course, on our software side, on the technology side, making sure we have software up to date, right? Go online, make sure your 2020 is up to date, make sure your iPad's up to date, and checking those settings. Work with your dealer, your precision planting dealer, your climate rep, to make sure that you're taking care of those things.
And I'll add one thing there to address our 2019 concerns and what we heard from the field. The customers, we want them to be up to date, but we also want them to know that as part of listening to them from 2019, it's working together on a very close basis to test that firmware, to be in communication between the two companies. That ultimately starts with leadership. And our leadership from both companies, it's been a great coming in and spending some time at Precision Planting, getting to know them, learning a little bit more about the product and where we can take it, from a leadership all the way down to our customer support teams. I mean, we're excited. We can learn from our mistakes, and we look to not only help customers understand why they need to update, but make sure those updates are ready to go to the field.
Yeah, we've definitely had more communication here recently than we did before, which has helped out a lot. On the update side, I think one of the things, and you'd be the best to highlight this, Emil, but just from a software change perspective, we say up to date, but from the 2020 side, we're actually not going to have one update this year because not everybody needs the latest features for products they're running. Can you just kind of speak to that just a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah. So one of the things we're really emphasizing for this next year is we want to have and give customers the most stable experience possible. We know that when they go to the field, time is money to them, right? They need to get it done. They don't want to have a software issue right in the middle of the field that they're having to work through. And so one of the things we're really emphasizing is we have a series of software this is all of last year's software. This has been ran for years, tested, and it's a very stable platform. We aren't going to add a ton of new things to it, yes, but that's what those guys need. And also for guys, we'll have a separate series as well that will be coming out. Okay, if you're running these new products, we have a lot of testing validation going on, but these are new things that you're going to be adding, and there's going to be some bumps in the road because of that.
Yeah, and I think those customers understand that. There's a reason that they're early adopters. There's a reason they're coming to precision planning is because they are excited about that new technology, but they also understand that there's hiccups. Yeah. There's bumps along the road. Yeah. And so we speak the same language as far as reliability and stability. Our leadership team in engineering and ultimately the product, myself, our number one goal for 2020 is reliability and stability. Mm-hmm. And it works perfect for what Precision is trying to do as well.
And I think it's good that we're working together on both that one platform for the majority of customers, but also that platform for that software for the early adopters, testing and validating with you guys on both of those.
Yeah, so I'd say one of the takeaways from that is up to date doesn't always mean the highest number of software.
Absolutely.
Right? So there's some growers that are running on the precision planting side, like 2020 V-Drive Delta Force, products that have been in the marketplace 5 years, they're stable, they haven't changed. There'll be a specific software for those growers, and then there's, like we mentioned earlier, Smart Depth, Furrow Force, those. That'll be a different set of software. So if I don't have the new products, don't put the new product software on, and we'll make sure that no matter which one it is, it's speaking well, communicating well with the FieldView Cab app.
Yeah. So I'm gonna speak some grower language here and go back to my roots of if it's not broke, don't fix.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's really, if we have stability from a version that's out there and we can rely on it, that's what we want. So it's a big goal.
Well, you think about it from a farmer's perspective, right? I mean, there's so much technology out there, and I think everybody at this point, we've all figured out, hey, try to update the software. The age-old how you fix everything, turn it off, turn it back on, right? I mean, that's always what I go to with any of the technology I use. But you guys highlight the fact that, hey, you know what? We strive to make it as simple as possible with all the technology that's available to farmers that they're using to produce crop today. But the reality is they still need help, right? Yeah. And what we hear from farmers all the time is, hey, the service and support that I get is crucial to my business. It's crucial to me running the operation. And I know that from a FieldView perspective and from a precision planning perspective, service is always top of mind, being available to the customer, having those resources out in the field. So, Emil, when you think about a farmer that's getting ready, they may have some questions. What's the best way for them to reach out, get their answers on any questions they might have as they start to prep for planting?
So I work in our product support team, and that's really the heart of where I am, is making sure guys are supported for the software, making sure that we're taking care of their issues and hear their feedback on new things they want too. But, as always, we want guys to be working with both their precision planting dealers and getting local support from that. But also we have a support team that you can call anytime. We have after hours, business hours support that you can give us a call. We'll work with your dealer, we'll work with you, and get that, either our support team take care of it or escalate it to our engineering team and get it resolved as fast as possible. That's what we're really about.
It's changed so much over the past couple of years here. I feel like, 10 years ago, you didn't see a lot of guys that were going in the middle of the night. Man, you're out on social media now, whether it's harvest or planting, you see pictures all the time of guys that are out in the field at 2 o'clock in the morning, got to get it in, they've got a midnight snack out there. And having availability of support, having someone that you can contact when you're in the heat of the battle, right? And because let's be honest, it's crunch time for us now as we get into planting and to harvest. And to have somebody that can be there with you is crucial. And Greg, as you think about how the FieldView product team works hand in hand with our customer success group as well, it's crucial for them to be there in those key moments for farmers.
Absolutely. I mean, we're taking on that task right now of training our customer support, giving them what they need to help better our customers, give them a better experience when they call in. And that may involve having a direct line of communication right to Precision to say, hey, this one's above our head. We need help. And to do that right away. And we want that to be seamless. We don't want the customer to suffer through technology, through having demo stands at our fingertips is ultimately what we can do at Climate to provide a better service for our customers through product support. They're the ones taking the phone calls. I look at that as their number one job is to get our customers back up and running. And they call in, they open a ticket, they take your information, they get you running, they close that ticket. That is extremely valuable information that we have to gather from a product team. I want to help bridge that gap between engineering and product. And same thing for precision. If they're taking phone calls, customers call in because we are kind of a front-facing, being right there in your face, having the 2020 and the cab app right there. Precision takes calls. They're collecting great information for us. We're working to find that seamless transition between how we gather that and learn from it.
One thing I would add to this conversation on support, preparation can prevent a lot of problems.
Yes. Yep.
And so obviously there's dealers for both FieldView and precision planning products. And some of those dealers are the same business, and some are not. But I know there's many of those dealers, not all, but many offer like a refresher course.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be one thing that I would encourage growers to take advantage of. So specifically, the link between 2020 and FieldView, a lot of precision planting dealers offer a refresher course here, a month or so ahead of planting.
Yeah.
And so I would encourage growers that are using the product to get there. Then, as we were talking earlier about which series of software to use, dealers can help answer that. Are there update or connectivity issues? That would be one thing to do. So I would say encourage talk to a local dealer. If you don't know where some of those events are going on, I know on the Precision Planning website, there's a local events place. You can put in your zip code and find out if those are happening. A lot of those dealers that are the same that represent both FieldView and Precision Planting will have a combined refresher course.
Absolutely.
Well, they'll talk how to connect and use your 2020 along with FieldView.
And I mean, I use the software every day of the year, right? But I get that as a farmer, you may only be using that a few weeks out of the year. And so that refresher course is a great place to come see the software being used. Bring your own system and have your settings checked out. Have people run through the display and understand how that works better.
Guys, as we think about some of the challenges that folks may have experienced this fall, data is very, very important, right? Farmers really need to have their information. They need to have their data. And one of the things that we may have to do this year is go through a process of some data cleanup. And Greg, I know the team and the support team that's on the FieldView side and the precision side has really been available, is trying to help farmers get some of that data cleaned up, make sure that it's in the system the way they need it. Talk to us a little bit about what we can do to help farmers to make sure that their data is as clean and quality as they need it to be as they make decisions for next year.
Absolutely. I mean, we look for simple things, Rick. I mean, ultimately, it's getting back to the basics of, are my field names correct? Do I have a sound base to collect the data? And that's in both sides. I mean, I think these guys would speak from that from a precision standpoint as well, with or without the iPad. The important to have a note where you're at on the farm. So field names, the best place to start. And that's an annual thing because fields come and go, sizes change, landowners may change, and so things happen. So we want customers to know that that's a great place to start when you interact with your data is farms. Boundaries. It's a simple thing, but yet it can cause problems. And so especially going into a spring season, either don't have boundaries or clean them up. And if you need help, reach out to us. We're here to help. We can give those tips and tricks to really enhance your product experience through the spring season coming up.
Yeah, you talk about the help that's out there, right? And when I go out into the countryside and talk with farmers, what I routinely hear is, hey, I need the technology to work. And one of the things that I love about the partnership between FieldView and Precision Planting is the way that the teams are working together and really thinking about how the software, the technology interact with each other. Can you guys talk to us a little bit about, as we think about moving forward, how are these two companies that are so important to farmers in their ability to execute, collect data, analyze data, and get the job done out in the field, how is FieldView and Precision Planting going to continue to pave the path forward and work together to create that seamless experience that farmers want and need out of their technology in the countryside?
So we're committed to work together at multiple levels throughout the business. So product support, product management, leadership, to make sure that the experience of folks using 2020 and FieldView together is a great experience. I would say the best experience in the cab is those two paired together.
Yeah.
Right? So there's multiple horizons where farmers want to make decisions, multiple decision points. If I have a problem right now, I need to find that. And that's what 2020 provides. If I have a singulation issue in a meter, if I have a downforce issue, if I'm running smart firmers, I need 20/20 for that, right? So it helps me stop a problem that's costing me money because the planner is not working right now. Then you think about from the FieldView side, that data gets fed into FieldView, and you can see that from a mapping perspective. Also, like on a yield side, very accurate yield data is really important. And so really the combination of those two helps to get growers to the right decision. The right decision when I see, hey, these two hybrids perform differently, and then with the data coming from 2020, you can say, well, was it because there was just two different hybrids, or did the singulation of one hybrid change? So if I had 95% singulation with one hybrid, 99% with the other, we would say that could be an 8 to 10 bushel swing. All right. So if there's 7 bushel difference between them, it's probably not the hybrid. It's probably something else. And so just the data that can be gotten in FieldView and then utilized throughout the year, you can take it with you, have the ability to take that with you, review maps, but just the wealth of information that you get and can take with you and make decisions in the field when a 2020 and FieldView are together throughout the year is just astounding how important that is for growers.
They're out there right now, Rick. They're talking to growers. Literally, as we sit here at Winter Conference, they're talking to growers about new technology, new layers of information. And like Bryce said, interacting with that data, having it at your fingertips all year long is really what Climate can help bring to the table for precision and precision users. And so having that at your fingertips, interacting with it, is the biggest thing that our customers can do to get that experience. To have that full, well-rounded experience of the products, of both products.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate you guys spending the time, but I got to be honest with you. I smell steak, okay? And I've been to a lot of winter conferences. There's steak and vegetables waiting for me, and y'all can stay here and keep talking if you want to. I'm hungry. I need to go eat some steak. So
I think we'll go too.
I think we're gonna wrap this thing up, man. I want to thank our listeners. And not just our listeners. This is the first time we've done some video on this, so we appreciate you tuning in on YouTube as well. Make sure to like and subscribe the video if you enjoyed the content. You can always find old episodes of our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever else you might find your podcasts. You can look us up on Twitter as well. We get our best questions from you, the viewer, so make sure that you're tweeting in and letting us know what you want us to talk about next. We appreciate you taking the time to spend some moments with us here at the shed here at Precision Planting. Look forward to seeing you again around the farm.